dish, dash. Hooray! Sound effects. Insert cue. I have my own sound effects. When I making emphasizes of the point. Dishkum. That is a point of being emphasized. Today's subject. Take it like a man. Stop complaining. Now, this is the biggest and hardest, most difficult thing that many people don't realize that they have to do. Complaining is one of the easiest things to do, yet one of the hardest things that you have to try to stop yourself from doing. You know what I mean? It is easy to complain. Like I. You know what I mean? It's always about you. Your problem. Not as a collective problem, but it is your problem. So what you really need to do is just, as you do the zip, they turn the key and then they throw it away. But most of those people who turn the key and throw it away, somehow there's a magnet at the end of that and here, and it just goes like back in reverse, and you're like, blah! So before you start to go down that road and you start to become that guy, don't be the complaining person. Like I take it, for example, in the same example of my fake mother-in-law. Hey, beta, hey, my feet hurt. Come massage my feet. Why don't you get your daughter to do it? Beta, hey beta, why is it so cold? Hey, turn the heater on. It is 102 degrees outside. Beta, why is my tea so cold? I just poured it out of the boiling. How can you drink hotter water than 100 degrees centigrade? It is not physically possible to heat water hotter than 100 degrees centigrade. If you did, it would be gone. What I mean by always keep moving is that you should not find yourself stopping. If a problem happens, try to find a solution and then keep moving forward. If you cannot find a solution, be like, okay, either I stop dwelling about this or I compartmentalize this problem and be like, this is a problem. I know it's eating in the back of my head. I can't do anything about it right now, but I will try to find an alternative solution at some other point. It is a good form of management skills you want to manage, because the thing is, if you're trying to do many things at once, you'll be becoming overwhelmed and then you'll start to take cocaine. And then you'll think cocaine is the solution. And then you know what? It is not the solution. Cocaine! You don't want to be on the cocaine. Now this is one of the hardest things. Not to look at your friends. Do not look at it, okay? Now, in the world that we live in the Facebooks, in the Instagrams, and the Snapchats, and as I like to call the dick chat, Snapchats, don't even get me started. But anyway, whatever you want to call, whatever social aspect it is, you're going to add your friends. And then friends being whatever they are, they're like, oh, why don't you? I was doing the kabaddi. And then one of the friends like, oh, I got a dog. And then your brain is like, you are a dog. But so before you start to get all caught up on what you think they are and what they are, you start to think in your life, you're like, what have I done with my life? I'm sitting in a basement recording videos. Before you start to go down that road and start to think, okay, let us try to evaluate it. I call it the problem of being able to siphon out people from your life in terms of who are basically going to cause a negative impact in your life. I'm a strong believer in putting in the work. If you put in the work, you get out the results. And if sometimes you don't get the results, guess what? You got the experience. You learned something in that frame of time. The course is written. You have to put your effort in. And if you put your effort in, the results will, the reaping of the sowing of the flowers, you'll be the guy hacking the wheat in the morning. You know how they say hack the wheat? You do the wheat hacking, and then you've got wheat. Then you've got the grain. And then you're like, I've got the grain. Get in the back of the car, lady. Learn when to say no. See, you have certain things in your life when they start to present themselves. And I like to call this Jattindar's law. Welcome, class, to what Jattindar's law is. Jattindar's law is very much like Murphy's law, but absolutely nothing like Murphy's law at all. Murphy's law basically states that something will happen eventually, or whatever the hell it is. Go look it up on Google. Jattindar's law, on the other hand, is something very much like this. This is you, okay? You are here. Now, Jattindar's law basically says all of a sudden you are focusing on you. What starts to happen is other segments start to what I call interferons. Interferons are people or things that start to make your focus go to other things that you should not be focusing on. And then they start to try to distract you. And when they try to distract you, you start to get away from you. That is okay for you to say really what you need to say to your friends. Sometimes is, if they're like, oh, do you want to go hiking? Do you want to go to Japan? Sometimes you need to focus on you. And if you don't focus on you, then you are too busy being everyone else. And you don't want to be everyone else because you need to focus on you. You have to negate the negativity in your life. Now, people, if you're a very positive person and you're keeping, you'll find people will start to be negative around you. And it is like that inside, like the magnets. The magnet is one part positive, negative, and then they come together. And you're like, hey, how am I stuck to this negative? You get caught up into that cycle and you're like, I don't want to be negative around you. Why are you being negative around me? So then it is either you cut that person, which is not, sometimes it is okay, sometimes it's not okay, but it is part of the shielding process. You need to be shielded from negativity. And you will find when you are positive, you smile at someone, you make someone's day, that in a way, and I know it sounds weird, but even though people are like, oh, you get that drug of feeling happy, and it is actually, you are spreading the positivity around. And when it starts to affect other people, you will see that it is like a baton pass. It is like, let's say this is the happiness, and you have it right here. And somebody's like, hey, and then you come into your life, like, hey, how are you? And then they're like, then all of a sudden they are happy. And then they're like, wait, what happened? So this is the baton passing process. You be like, oh, all of a sudden you are really the part of the whole field of getting it positive. So that's why keep the atmosphere around you, keep it positive. And if you can keep it positive, then other people will feel it. Life, my dears, is full of hurdles. It is, we have set ourselves up in a phase of our life where we somehow have said everything is, if it's not hunky-dory, I'm going to be depressed and I'll be down. Yes, that is this, we have this butterfly effect. We're flying and then all of a sudden a crow comes and eats your ass and you're dead. So before you start to get the crow who's chasing your ass, you have to realize life is full of hurdles. You will fly here and there everywhere. But on the process of where you are flying, you have to feel that, sometimes things will happen and you have to find a way, how do I have to deal with it? Now, as men, we have this motion and also women, I'm sorry, but it is a cohesive thing between men and women. We have this thing of certain rights and certain behaviors. If we all realize that we are collectively in one big system, then all of a sudden these barriers will be not there. But anyway, I cannot discuss the psychology because the video will become too long and then people will start to go, let me click on somebody else's video. Oh, I like to see cats pooping. So before you go to the cats pooping, I'm going to end this video and say thank you very much for watching. Realize this is how sometimes, this is just my opinion. You might not even agree with it, and that's fine. That is why we call it, it is justifiable. Everyone's allowed to say what they want to say. Make sure you don't forget to do the due diligence, do the comments, do the likes, and I'll see you soon.